Cheat Code Support Strategist by myheadinthecoudsnotcomingdown. Read by Rat Overlord. Chapter 60 Glitter. Summary. New ideas are developed. Isugu ran into class just before the bell rang, and pretty much immediately his classmates turned to stare at him. He fidgeted awkwardly. He wasn't usually this late, but he'd gotten an idea about his teleporting tracker last night and had completely lost track of time before his mom ran into his room and practically cried as she told him that he was going to be late for school. Kohaku looked him up and down and whistled lowly. Dang, Midoriya, no tie today? Isugu instinctively looked down at his outfit. He was wearing the UA uniform, mostly. He might have been too big of a rush this morning to even want to deal with the idea of tying a tie, so he'd swapped the dress shirt for a black t-shirt, which had way better flexibility for crawling through the tunnels. He was still wearing the uniform, just styled differently. He laughed awkwardly. Well, I mean, none of you guys keep your full uniforms on either, and just because I'm working on computers doesn't mean I shouldn't be comfortable, right? Besides, Katsuki's in the hero course, and he never wears his tie either. Speaking of... May slammed her notebook down on her desk. I have an idea! We should glitter bomb him! Isugu looked over her shoulder at the design that she'd sketched out. May, you do know that normal glitter bombs don't normally include C4, right? They don't? May frowned. But then why call it a bomb? I mean, it probably wouldn't do too much damage. Powerloader cleared his throat, and the class sheepishly turned to look at him. Hatsume, if you're gonna blow up the school, could you at least have the good grace to do it when I'm out of earshot? I need plausible deniability, not a migraine. Right! Midoriya smiled apologetically. It won't happen again, sir! Powerloader sighed. Just get to work. Mineta kept himself quiet and unobtrusive as he walked into the support labs. Only an idiot would draw attention to themselves before they got the lay of the land and at least had a sense of who they were hunting. There were several students spread out between the tables, welding and soldering away at their own inventions, but Mineta wasn't interested in them. Somehow, he didn't think that a kid with a giant shark head was cheat code. It seemed like something that would have come up in conversation. Even though he couldn't be sure that the Island incident was related to cheat code, it was still his best lead, which meant that he was looking for either Hatsume or Midoriya. Jiro had insinuated that he was only interested in Hatsume because she had big boobs, so the one with pink hair. There wasn't anyone with her, but from what his classmates had said, the two were never far apart, so Midoriya must be around here somewhere. It was only a matter of if he would show up. Now that he had his target in sight, Mineta let his stare linger a bit too long in the right places and ran towards Hatsume's station as quickly as he could, hardly even giving a glance to any of the boys in the room, not even the one with green hair who was leaning against the doorframe of the side room looking at him suspiciously, most likely questioning his intentions towards Hatsume. Good. If the students thought he was looking at the girls, they'd never guess that he was actually here to find cheat code. He almost made it to Hatsume's desk before the green-haired kid called out to him. Hello, Mineta. Are you here to modify your costume? Mineta jumped. How did this kid know his name? He recovered quickly, though, putting on a smile as he glanced at Hatsume. Yeah, I heard some of the others saying Hatsume was the best girl to go to. You heard right! Hatsume jumped to shake his hand, but the kid, who had to be Midoriya, was still looking at him suspiciously. I'm the best inventor that you'll find in the future CEO of Hatsume Industries. Nice to meet ya. Mineta grinned. I'm excited to see what you can do, hot stuff. Cheat codes gave us a lot of good suggestions. Midoriya's expression changed slightly when Mineta mentioned cheat code. Interesting. Midoriya pushed himself away from the doorframe and walked over to them, subtly placing himself in front of Hatsume. Your quirk involves adhesion, right? What do you have in mind? Mineta stood his ground. I don't know. Something cool, definitely. I need to look like a badass. Hatsume pushed past Midoriya. Your current costume isn't gonna cut it. I've seen the designs, and it looks like it was made to be a giant baby. And the fact that you cry during fights definitely doesn't help. So you're gonna want to change that. Let's see. Well,
I'd take out the white and the diaper just gets in the way, but we can keep the utility belt. Maybe we should add some sort of ranged weapon? Oh, maybe something that can adjust to the stickiness of your quirk? And with the DNA incorporated into the suit, obviously. I know I had some designs a while ago. Where did I put them?
About halfway through her ramblings, Hatsume had pulled out a stack of notebooks and started sorting through them for her ideas, spreading old drawings and crumpled notes across her desk as Midoriya helped sort through them, muttering about the specifics of Minetta's quirk under his breath. How did he know so much? He'd heard the guy was Nedzy's personal student, so a certain amount of mystery was to be expected, but they never even met before. Something on one of the pages caught his eye, and Minetta sucked in a sharp breath. Was that? He glanced over towards Midoriya and Hatsume, but they had both gotten caught up in brainstorming new gear ideas for him that they weren't even looking his way. So, Minetta subtly nudged the sketchbook the rest of the way open, his eyes widening slightly when he realized that he was right. Various versions of Cheat Code's logo were spread across the page, all slightly different than the one that had appeared on the info packets, but considering that some of them had been crossed out and others were crammed into the margins, Minetta assumed that they must have been progress versions, which meant... Minetta glanced up at the duo, who were still chatting almost faster than any normal person could process. Which one was Cheat Code? Quickly, Minetta grabbed one of the smaller balls from the nape of his neck and stuck it to the corner of the page. As soon as he was sure that no one was watching, he tore the page and wrapped it around the ball before shoving it into his pocket. The page would be undamaged when the stickiness wore off, but if anyone questioned him before then, they'd inevitably try to tear the page off and ruin their evidence in the process. The timing was closer than he would have liked, though, considering that Midoriya turned towards him as soon as the ball was safe inside Minetta's pocket, a huge smile on his face.
So, what do you think?
Minetta squeezed the paper ball in his pocket.
I think you two are exactly what I need.
Somehow, being looped in on a secret as big as One for All was enough to break the ice between Hitoshi and his adults. Parents? He wasn't quite sure if he was ready to go that far, but whatever Shota and Hisashi were to him, they were better than anything he'd ever had before. And finally hearing Shota's real opinions on All Might was hilarious.
I mean, seriously.
Shota rolled his eyes.
There should be at least a committee deciding who gets a powerful, not to mention dangerous, opportunity. Impulsively putting a first year in a situation where she has to make a lifelong decision and can't even really say no to the privilege was just idiotic, not to mention unethical, so no wonder she disappeared.
Hitoshi grinned.
I'm pretty sure that has more to do with her quirk.
Shota glared at him.
She didn't teleport for at least a week after getting that stupid power, which means she probably was repressing the power and had no choice but to manifest it dramatically. That wouldn't have happened if the blonde oaf hadn't laid all the pressure of a giant legacy on her.
Hisashi smiled softly and rubbed his back.
Do you want to hide in one of the cupboards and jump scare him? That usually makes you feel better.
I could always have Mei-chan make a glitter bomb for you,
Hitoshi offered.
I know she's building one already so that they can prank Bakugo, but, I should warn you that she's still working on the formula. Last I heard, her design was more bomb than glitter.
Oh?
Hisashi perked up.
I could probably take a look over it. I did make my fair share of glitter bombs and other pranks back in my days at UA. I'm pretty sure there's still glitter in Thuria's classroom from that one time we...
That's not something to be proud of.
Shota cut in, but he was still smiling.
Your other pranks were much more effective.
Hitoshi glanced between the two of them.
Why do I feel like I should be taking notes?
Shota grinned.
Because learning from the masters is only logical.
You?
Hitoshi gave a shocked laugh.
Hisashi I can see, but you?
Shota shrugged.
There's nothing wrong with a few logical ruses. You have to battle burnout somehow anyways. Plus, Hisashi was a bad example.
Hey!
Hisashi looked betrayed.
Do I need to remind you that the air horn tripwire in the cafeteria was your idea?
Shota frowned.
I thought that one was Shirakumo's.
Hisashi's face fell.
Oh, I guess it was. It's been so long.
His adults were silent for a long moment, and Hitoshi was about to ask what was wrong when Hisashi shook himself out of it.
Well, little listener, I guess you're wondering why we're having your favorites for dinner tonight.
Hitoshi looked at him suspiciously.
I thought you were just buttering me up so that I'd trust you or something.
Shota snorted.
Good thought, kid. But no, there is more to it.
We're celebrating!
Hisashi ran over to the counter to grab a manila envelope and shoved it into his hands.
Well, what are you waiting for? Open it!
Hitoshi gave him a suspicious glance, but slowly opened the envelope and pulled out the piece of paper.
Is this our official foster license?
Shota answered.
Until now, you've technically been under emergency custody, but now it's official. Basically, it means we can keep custody of you without having to jump through hoops and call you a villain when you're obviously going to be a hero.
Hitoshi swallowed back some tears, his voice almost choking up.
Oh, okay.
Plus, Netsu even pulled a few strings so that our emergency custody of you will still count towards the minimum time before adoption.
Hisashi grinned.
That means that we can adopt you, like, at the beginning of next semester. Isn't that so rockin'?
Assuming that you want that.
Shota cut in.
If you would prefer we not adopt you, that's your right. You still have a place with us, even if you don't want to go that far.
Hitoshi looked up at them in shock.
You actually want to? But you'd be stuck with me!
Shota snorted.
More like you'd be stuck with us. Maybe it's best if we don't. I can't imagine having that cockatoo over there as a dad.
Hisashi stuck out his tongue.
Well, I can't imagine having a hobo caterpillar as one either.
Hitoshi stifled a snicker, but smiled.
We'll see. But, you'd probably have to fight my kidnappers for custody.
What?
Hisashi flexed.
You think we can't handle a couple of kids?
Shota raised one eyebrow.
Speak for yourself. If those two attack, you're on your own. It's only logical to surrender in face of an undeniable defeat.
Hitoshi laughed. They'd almost definitely get sick of him before they were able to adopt him, but if they didn't, then maybe being part of a real family wouldn't be too bad. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a like or comment down below, because I always love hearing from you guys, and make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date with whenever I post. Ooh, this chapter I love it, it's so cute. Oh, finally adopting, or on the path to adopting Hitoshi. It's precious. But yeah, drink some water, you fiends.